and welcome to the Brian Marketing Group podcast. Today I'm speaking with Amanda, the owner of Accounting by Amanda and a networking group, Small Business Babes. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I am on a mission to empower entrepreneurship, and those two businesses are the way that I try to do it locally. I just love what business ownership can do for women. So I'm really excited to share that with you today and answer any accounting questions that you commonly see and just talk a little bit about my business journey.
Great, I'm excited.
So,
So, did you grow up in Florida?
Yes, I am born and raised in Jupiter, technically Palm Beach Gardens, if you're familiar. I lived right on the line growing up and then went to high school in Jupiter High. Growing up, my mom worked from home. She did medical billing and she was able to be with me growing up, which was incredible. When I was a little bit older, my parents split up and my dad actually went and worked for a small business. And because of him working for a small business, he was able to be at every single sports game. He was able to drop me off for work, pick me up, or drop me off at school, pick me up, everything that I needed because of being at a small business. If he worked a normal corporate job, he might not have been able to do that. And then as I got older, I even saw what small businesses can do for people that are like in my position or that want to be moms or ever have to take care of family, older or younger. It literally can change lives for anyone.
Yeah, so you really help change people's lives and help them have more family time.
Yeah, it's super important. And it's super important to be able to enjoy your life and to be able to live out your purpose in life. And that's like a big part of business ownership is getting to hone in on a skill set, your superpower, and bring that to the world and help other people in a really meaningful way. So even for people that are in business, like work in corporate, a lot of times they open side hustles just to have that creative outlet. And it's just such an empowering feeling for people.
That's great. So, do you have any advice? Say I come to you and Amanda, I'd really like a side hustle. How do you give the advice of someone finding their potential to have a side hustle?
Oh my gosh. Well, first it starts with what makes you happy, which sounds like a high level question. What makes you happy, and then any time if you have low overhead is a good one. So for people that really enjoy being on a computer and don't want to talk to people, getting into something like bookkeeping might be really good for a side hustle because it's something you can learn online. QuickBooks and other programs have trainings for it that you can learn for free, and there's almost no overhead for that. And you can work with trusted professionals also, if you're like creative or something, there's almost no overhead for that. You can make designs and logos. So, leaning into your strengths and what you actually enjoy and learning how to monetize that. And what's really incredible about side hustles is they wind up actually really commonly being very successful because there's no pressure on it the way it could be if you were to open up just your sole business because it becomes this creative, fun outlet. Clients actually see that and they enjoy it and they enjoy being in your circle. So I think it's such a great idea to start with the side hustle, but make sure it's something that you actually enjoy doing. Don't start something just to hate it again, right? Why would you leave corporate just to make yourself a corporate job again? Like make it something special, make it something different, and making it something that you can enjoy. And as you grow, you can take the things you're not good at or you don't like and you can start outsourcing those things and you can empower other people too. So it's all about creating a better world and a better life for more and more people is what business ownership does.
Okay. So, how did you get into accounting?
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, a product of the recession, the OG or my recession, my era's recession. I am 27. So, and when the recession was happening, I was like middle school age. It is pretty much what caused my parents' divorce. Financial hardship. We lost our home during that time. We had a lot of financial stress during that time. So it was very eye opening. So when I went to school, to college, I thought, well, what can I do that if the whole world shuts down, what will they still need me to do? And what's my skill set again, right? Engineering was too hard for me. I was not like the physics side of things, calculus is very hard. And I was like, okay, I like how things work in balance. My dad is a rigger, rigs boats, which is kind of like mechanic work. So I really understand like balancing things and like the mechanics of things. I really enjoy operations and systems. And actually, that's a lot of what accounting is balancing, knowing where things are and analysis. Something I've really tapped into more as an adult and as growing my business is I love explaining things in common terms about complicated concepts. So that's been really fun with accounting is getting to take these more abstract concepts and bring them to everyday people that own small businesses and don't need the big tax jargon. They just want it in simple terms so they can do something about it and build wealth right here at home.
Yeah, I really like how you do that. So when I was looking at your Instagram, I saw you had stated accounting, think of accounting like a car. Can you
Yes.
explain that?
Oh my gosh, I can't remember the exact analogy that I used. But basically, I think this was the eyes on the road one,
Yeah.
right? If you don't know how to read your gauges on your car, you don't know what's going on in your business, there's no fuel in the tank, either one of those things, right? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? So if you can't read the gauges, that's like not being able to read a profit and loss statement in your business. And if you don't have fuel in the tank, that's like not having cash in the business. And if you're not maintaining your car, your oil changes, you're going to run out of oil and it's going to blow up basically is what's going to happen to your engine, right?
Yeah.
So you need to make sure you're getting that routine maintenance on your business just like you would your car because your business is the vehicle that's going to get you to where you want to go. You're not going to get to drive from here to New York City by not having a map, not having anything in the tank, and most certainly by not having an oil change in 12,000 miles, right? You're
Yeah.
probably not going to make it. So, kind of like thinking of it in that way is it's not such a burden, but like more of an ongoing maintenance for your business so you can have a healthy and long lasting business. And as you grow, think of it as like upgrading your car. You know, your fancier cars might require a little bit more maintenance, but it was a little bit more expensive to begin with. So when you get into your business grows, it might cost a little bit more to maintain, but that's to have a better experience for you and everyone else in your business too. Does that answer your question?
Yes, and I love how you do that. A lot of people think of accounting and it's so complicated, and I mean it is, but
Mhm.
it's so nice that you take the approach where you try to take something complicated and explain it to where everyone can understand it. So it makes it less scary, kind of.
That's what that's what gets me so excited about business ownership is that's something growing up I like saw as a downside in my personality. Um just that I always feel like I had to explain things or like get things complete like have to understand every single part of a concept and like when people teach me things I like repeat it back or I explain it in a different way just to make sure I understand it. And I was like, wow, like that's annoying, right? But it actually is something I've been able to like tap into and hone in on for my specific business. And there's so many of those things and so many people that you think maybe think are a weakness, but it's actually your superpower. And you were talking about small business babes in the
Mhm.
intro. I remember when I was a child, and my birthday's in August and April, sitting at the computer and like trying to plan my birthday party. Like I loved planning events. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? What does that have to do with anything? And having small business babes, we have our monthly socials and like it's kind of my outlet to do that too. So there's always a different way to enjoy yourself. And that's where I've really had my fun is with small business babes. It's been a blast. But accounting is critical too.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
your fun and then, your serious business.
Yes.
And you guys always look like you're having so much fun on your socials. You just had one recently, right?
Yes, we did. We had one in February. It was our sweetheart social. We learned the salsa at Fred Astaire. It was a couple social. Usually our socials are women's only, but we opened this one up to couples so you can learn how to salsa with your partner as an early Valentine's Day. Our next one's in March, and we're partnering with the Hilton, which is incredible. We are so excited to start bringing on external partners to support small business babes in our mission and elevate local businesswomen and all the work that they're doing. So they'll be providing a beautiful space for us to host all of the women next month. And I'm so excited. It's just a lot of networking events and it's really gotten better in the last couple years. So Small Business Babes officially started in June, but the desire came at the end of 2021 to start it. You know, the middle of the world being shut down. It was actually all online originally. Um, but networking groups, when I tried to network in college or like even, that was really, it was a college COVID and then I lived here and like opened my business in the middle of COVID. And then I had the work jobs in between. But when I was trying to network before, it was like you go in, you have to wear a suit, you don't know who to talk to. some of these networking events, if someone else does what you do, you can't be there. So I just wanted to take all the judgment, all the rules, the coldness, the stickiness of it, and make it fun. Because women are a little more emotional too, especially on the woman's side. We need that support and that knowing of community that we're not in it alone together. Because I just kept meeting women that were like, "Oh, I wish I had more business BFFs. I don't know anyone to talk to about this." And it's even with a group of almost 600 women, like it still feels like there's not enough. Like it's such a challenge to go through. It's such a journey to go through as a business owner being by yourself. It's kind of new. Most people are in corporate, and to have the responsibilities of life too, to be able to go to a space where you can talk about business, but it can be in a fun way. And you can make friends that are going through the same things as you, that have the same schedule and routine as you too, and understand the kind of stresses that you're going through compared to your typical 9 to 5er.
I love that. And you've really done so much. You do so much for the community. So I think
Thank
that's
you.
just so wonderful.
I love Jupiter. I was born and raised here. I always felt called back. I went to college up in Orlando, and I just made my way down here. I like lived in Fort Lauderdale for a little bit as an auditor, and then I finally moved back up here a couple years ago. And I always knew this is where I belong. So my mission really in 2023 is to get more involved in the community, especially as everything's getting opened up again. There's so much power in that, in community and coming together.
Yeah, and there's power in it and you're empowering people. So it's really just it's so great.
Thank you. As the quiet girl in the back of the room growing up, it's pretty crazy to get to do that. But it also makes me wonder if that makes me more qualified, because I want those people that are in the back of the room that don't feel like speaking up. I want to give them a safe space to speak up, or just to even be, and to not have the pressure of speaking. You can just be there and connect with other women and enjoy the experience. That's my goal, is to make everyone feel welcome.
Yeah, because if they're there, they might hear something or learn something, even if they don't want to speak up right away. Or
Yeah. Yeah. So like in January, we did our social on financial wellness. So starting in this year, we've done every month, we've had a speaker. So either a speaker sharing her story of business ownership, a fellow business babe, or bringing on guest experts to talk about their expertise. So in January, we had a panel of financial experts come in actually that I interviewed, which was super fun. We had my mentor, the Modern Savvy CPA, come in. We had a certified financial planner come in, as well as a holistic financial advisor. And they all talked about different approaches to taking care of your finances as a business owner coming into the new year. And that was really awesome. It was awesome. We talked about a lot of retirement too, which I was kind of surprised. I thought it was going to be more tax focused, but the conversation wound up being about retirement and how important that is. And a lot of the women walked away from that saying they learned things that they have never learned before just by being in that room. So it's getting to create experiences like that, that are so special. Like I just saw someone on Instagram that's a sleep doctor, and I was like, oh my gosh, like we need to get her on stage. Like tell us how to sleep,
oh my
please.
gosh.
So I really just have this vision of bringing women together, and creating a place where they can teach each other, and we can learn from each other and learn from each other's skills and experiences.
Yeah, that's amazing. And
Thank you.
the ladies in January are probably going to carry those lessons with them for the rest of their
To them,
life,
to their
to
children,
their children.
to their friends' children, and their friends' parents even.
Yeah.
Like who knows? It's so powerful just to be, and also to be able to learn from other women too, to have women on stage that are speaking to you. Women have come to me saying that sometimes they don't love, no offense, men, but being mansplained, and it's just because women communicate a little bit differently than men. Women kind of like drag things out a little. We like a little more detail, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was really powerful too, having the women up on stage to connect with them, and they were there before and after too, so they were able to answer their questions one on one.
That's really great. It is. So speaking of questions,
Yeah.
so I'm sure we have some women viewers. What is the most common question that you think that you're asked, or some helpful advice you think that you could give?
For accounting or for business?
Oh, let's do for business.
My advice for business is to serve your clients, to to whatever you do in your business, make the focus on serving your clients and your business will grow. Whether that be in the customer experience, whether that be in getting your name out there. What then by customer experience, a lot of that comes into outsourcing. Like I was talking to you before, I'm interviewing to bring someone onto my team because if I'm doing the work with my clients, I can't talk to them, right? There's only so many hours in the week. So creating a really beautiful client experience for your clients and how they work with you and just continuing to serve them in the customer service world. What comes with that is also community is very valuable right now. So serving your clients in those ways is what I'm seeing the most in the market right now and what customers care about. They care about feeling welcome. And then on the accounting side, two pieces.
Okay.
I'm going to say two pieces. Number one, bookkeeping, super important, especially tax season time, right? If you have your bookkeeping set up, you can just pull from your books and you don't have to do like anything else for taxes. It's so nice. Whereas if you're doing it all manually, you now have to sit down 4, 6, 8 hours, right? And like go through your personal bank statements if they're still mixed in and tear all that out. So how many hours are you spending that you could be making money right now, right?
Hmm.
So think of it that way. With same with outsourcing too. Bookkeeping is really important all around. If you want to sell your business, if you want to get a loan for your business, financing anything, they're going to want to know that you're taking care of your business. This is kind of like that oil change,
Hmm.
right? We want to make sure we're looking at our numbers, pop the hood, make sure everything looks good, nothing's open. True story. One time I got an oil change, came home, and I was like, that smells funny. I drove, I don't know if it's only locals listening, but from Stewart to Jupiter. So like 30 minutes, right? Um, maybe a little less, 30 minutes. And I opened the hood and just oil everywhere. They didn't put the
No.
cap back on.
No.
So you never know what's happening,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That could happen in your books too, right? Like, someone gets their hands on your credit card and you're not watching your account. How would you know if you're not looking?
Yeah.
So, bookkeeping is super critical. And the other thing is to not rush into an S Corp election. S Corp is an election that can save you a lot on taxes, but also costs a little bit more money to maintain. And bookkeeping is even more critical for an S Corp. So making sure that you consult with an accountant before becoming one and making sure you understand the implications and the costs that come with it. The two main things are that you're going to have to pay yourself via payroll, which means paying payroll taxes and things like that, and usually outsourcing payroll. And then the other thing is doing an S Corp tax return separately. That's actually due on March 15th. So it's due earlier and it costs you extra money. It can save you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in taxes. But if you're a smaller business that's only netting like 10K a year, you might not need that election yet. The cost might outweigh the benefits. So making sure you're ready to make that election when you do is it's the biggest mistake I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do people come to that? So I was looking, there's 1099, sole proprietorship, S Corp. Like when people start doing their
Mhm.
bookkeeping or they're just opening their books, that's when you decide to.
So my recommendation, like the life cycle of a business, life length of a business, right? If we called it a cycle, would be like if you were to exit the business from the beginning, when you have your business idea, open it, start with an LLC. An LLC is the simplest business structure. If you're not even sure if it's going to be a long business, you can even just open a separate personal bank account. But whatever you do, separate your business expenses immediately. If you were just to create a separate bank account under your personal name, that's when you would be a sole proprietorship. You're doing business as yourself. If you open an LLC through the state, you can either do that yourself online or hire an accountant to do it. You are creating a separate legal entity, and that legally separates you from the business in that limited liability corporation. And that LLC will need to open its own business bank account, and that'll live there. And that's a really good like starting place when you're starting your business because you don't have the increased filing fees. It's nothing too complicated for taxes. You don't have to pay yourself via payroll. You can just transfer money from your business account to a personal account in large lump sums so you know it's an owner's draw. Really, really simple from that perspective. And then once you usually hit about the 50,000 net profit line is when an S corp election might make sense. And what an S corp election is an election on top of your LLC, so it's kind of adjusting what the LLC is treated as to an S corp, and at that point, it needs its own separate tax return. You're now a shareholder of the company. The bookkeeping is done a little bit different, and you'll need to put yourself on payroll. And usually, by that point, you'll even have a team, so payroll will start to really make sense at this point. So it's about being at the right step for your business from the beginning. The only
Okay.
time an S corp would ever really make sense is if for some reason you know you're going to make that much net income, like if you're leaving an exist like. But an LLC is the lowest risk to begin with.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
you explain things so well.
Oh, thank
So
you.
I'm like looking, I'm like, I don't know the difference, but I know who will.
I got you. It's my favorite question to answer because it's really confusing. And it does save you money on taxes as an S corp if you're making a lot of money. If you're newer in business, it could be costing you more money to be an S corp. So you just want to make sure it's done at the right time, which is where it becomes really important to have a trusted advisor relationship with an accountant, or having a couple other small business owners that you feel you can look up to. That's another really important reason for community and small business names. I'm really an advocate for intergenerational learning too. So I want ideally like women from 20 to 90. Like I want everyone. Like I want you guys to all learn, because the 90-year-old can learn from the 20-year-old about technology, and the 90-year-old can learn about resilience and business and branding and standing out and learning. Um, there's always something you can gain. So having people to lean on and trusted advisors in your life, especially as a business owner, because as a business owner, right, you're very valuable. You're very valuable. You have a valuable asset or a valuable skill. There is a risk of you being taken advantage of, or people, taking money from you. So you really need to have, I highly recommend having those barriers in place to protect yourself as a business owner, whether that's community or advisor relationships, or even like you said, you were on Instagram. That's how we connected, right? Just going on Instagram and learning and seeing, are these experts I can trust and learn from? And just starting there. No matter where you're at in your business, there is a place you can start today to do something about the health of your business so it can last a long time. Because if you don't do this today, guess who's going to do it in a year? You, right?
Yeah.
It's still you, future you, and except it's going to be like way worse. There's this story, this tuna fish under the bed. If you were to have a tuna fish sandwich and you ate it now, it would be good, right?
Mhm.
But if you put it under the bed and you come back and look at it in like a year, it's going to smell way worse than it did now, where it's just kind of bad.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what accounting can be like, is either a delicious sandwich or a rotten sandwich that you gotta like bring back to life. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that analogy. I never thought about that before.
Like it still has to be dealt with eventually. So, but the sooner you deal with it and manage it and learn how to make it part of your life and your business that you can work with, the easier it is. Like, I don't know, some people don't love brushing their teeth in the morning, but they still do it every day because you want to have nice breath, right? There's just things we have to do to maintain ourselves and our businesses. And with small businesses, it wasn't until recently that anyone could own a small business, right? It used to only be to certain people, but the internet has just opened up the floodgates, right? Like huge, massive amounts of small businesses, millions of businesses were made this year.
Yeah.
Um, so there's not, so it makes sense that business owners don't know what to do, right? Because this is kind of a new thing to these types of business owners. This is a whole different demographic. It's not just the well connected anymore, it's anyone. So don't be hard on yourself if you don't know what you're doing. Just take it day by day, because no one's an expert the first day. And
Yeah.
like I said in the beginning, we can all learn from each other. Like what I'm an expert in is not what my clients are experts in ever. Like they're so much more talented than me at what they're really, really good at. And that's where we can all thrive and grow together.
And financially, you just help them be their best.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah. So I really focus on advisory, trusted advisory relationships. So from really micro businesses like solopreneurs meeting quarterly, that's what I recommend for newer businesses, to an every month or an every week relationship, depending on the size and scale of the business. But my goal is to advise clients in a way that we can work together to create the business and life that they really want. So, what does outsourcing look like in your business? What does tax management look like in your business? what does your life look like in your business? What do you really want to be doing? How much do you really want to be paying yourself? Like, do you have kids that you want to be planning for too? So there's so many different factors in your personal and your business life that overlap. And by putting a plan in place and having an advisor to help you along the journey, you don't have to be alone in it. And you can actually be in a car that you can understand the gauges on, right? Like we'll go back to that analogy, right? You can get to the destination you want to get to. And that's what accounting is, because if you don't have accounting, you don't know how much money you made in your business last month. You don't know how much you're spending in your business. You don't know where you're spending it. How can you ever get where you want to go, right? And
Yeah.
I want business owners to be able to get where they want to go. So it all comes down to advisory. So included in that, I make sure to take care of your bookkeeping, your payroll, your taxes, either through my own firm or through trusted partners. You will never be without a trusted connection, at least in the finance side.
That's great. So for March
Mhm.
next month, the Small Business Babes is going to be at. Can you say it? Tell me again.
Yes, the Hilton Palm Beach Airport. So I am so excited for that. We will be in the ballroom at Hilton Palm Beach Airport. Our speaker will actually be a member. She will be sharing her story. Her business is called Jeweled Inc. She just opened her business last November and she is breaking it by storm. She does permanent jewelry, which is a very like hot, up and coming, right? Trendy thing. So, like I said it earlier about small business babes, I don't want it to be like only one per field, right? Like and that's how we've been from the beginning is we want it to be super inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So like in her field, for example, there's so many people that are like opening permanent jewelry businesses right now. You know, it's I mean, like I've seen like five, right? So it's just
Yeah.
one of the more popular businesses. She's going to talk about standing out in a competitive market from the beginning and how she's been getting business and how she's been growing and sharing that because it can feel competitive as a business owner. You want everyone to just buy from you, but it's about differentiation and branding and communication and building community and relationships with your clients too. So I'll be interviewing her on stage there for that. And then we'll also be learning how to make mocktails from the mobile mixery. She's going to be teaching us how to make mocktails. And then the guests will have a chance to win a bottle of Atoll vodka, another local brand who all percentage of their proceeds goes to organizations that support autism, which is incredible. They're like such an inspiration. Like they're a local brand. They're so involved with the community, and they just do so much good. And they always do it with a smile. Everyone who
Really?
works at that company is just so kind and
Aw.
generous. Yeah, so we'll have that, gift bags to take home, a balloon art, and like a photo op for people. It's really easy to access. The parking lot's right by the ballroom will be right by like glass doors, so you can just walk right in. And that'll be on Sunday, March 12th from 2 to 4 at the Hilton. So that is one of our first bigger deals, and we're really excited to bring in external partners to keep growing the brand and to sh- to have them show their support of small businesses means a lot because the gap can feel big sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Small versus big, but we're all in this together. We're all just trying to have our piece in the world, right? Like me by myself, I could never be a Hilton, right? Even if I wanted to, like an Airbnb owner, right? That's
Yeah.
not the same as Hilton. So understanding the differences and being able to support each other is it's really awesome. That's how we can all grow and like lift each other up together.
That's so exciting.
Thank you.
So, do people get tickets on like
Yeah, so
Eventbrite
people can
or?
get tickets on Eventbrite. They can access those from our website, smallbusinessbabes.org, and they can just click on this link that says socials and they'll go right to the Eventbrite page to purchase the tickets. On the website is also a little bit more information about us and how to join our membership. Our membership is only $10 a month, and that includes a social media shout out. So we share you with our community as well as some other perks and discounts, discount on a vendor fee. We also do a monthly market. It's at night. It's the fourth Saturday of the month. So if you're a member, you get a discount on your vendor fee as a vendor. That market, that one we do only feature one of each type of business for the market only. We don't do that in the organization in general, but just for shopping purposes for people, you should make it easy for everyone, for the public too. So that's about 25 women from 5 to 8 on the fourth Saturday of the month at Coastal Karma Brewing down in Lake Park, right off North Lake. And that's where you can come and shop local women. That's something I want to work on more, is getting the women more connected to the public. We do have a directory, so getting that into the hands of more people is one of my goals. So if you ever know anyone that's like good at that kind of stuff, let me know.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, just because people want to support small businesses, they just don't know where to go. So if I can be the resource for people to come to and they say, hey, I want to support a local, like for my party, I want to have a balloon arch. Like there's so many amazing balloon arch girls in our group.
Yeah.
So being able to go there and seeing what people have to offer before going elsewhere would be really awesome. It's my vision for that part.
And I'm sure you're going to conquer it, because it
Thank you.
seems like anything you put your mind to, you just crush it.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a lot of love in my heart. That's
Aw.
it. It's just all out of love. Like I love to help business people the best that I can and to serve them. And I want to make it a worldwide movement. I want to make business babes everywhere just happy, and I want to make it a fun thing, and I want to have retreats and all the kinds of things. But
Oh, that
yeah.
would be amazing.
Right? Like a spa weekend with the babes. Like how fun.
Yeah.
So it's really been a special experience
Yeah.
to do all of that. Especially like since I mentioned earlier, I was very quiet growing up. So it's really crazy to have all these like parties and 600 friends. Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
And it shows how needed it is in the world. And even if I ever get tired from it, like if it's ever seems like a lot of work, like during tax season, there's just a lot going on, 100% always worth it, because it's worth serving my community and my people, because they're changing the world too. Like we're all doing this together.
Yeah. Well, your passion is inspiring.
Thank you.
And now, where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Accounting by Amanda, and our Small Business Babes Instagram is Small Business Babes. Our market Instagram is SBB Market, so Small Business Babes Market, so SBB Market, and that's where you can see all of the vendors that we'll have at our upcoming markets and some photos from past markets. The brewery that we have that at, it's woman owned, so it's owned by a couple, and the business babe, she came up to us when we first started, like as a Facebook group, and she's like, do you guys want to host a vendor market? And now it's this monthly thing that we do every month, and you can grab a brew, walk around, bring your dog, bring your kids. It's family friendly, dog friendly. It's probably 5,000 square feet. Like it's huge.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a huge space. So it's a really fun environment, especially at night.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. February 25th is the next one, and then March 25th after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got to mark it on my calendar.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and so insightful and enlightening. And I'm sure you helped a lot of people today.
Thank you. Thank you. If anyone ever needs anything, they can always reach out. I'm happy to help. You can always find me at community events locally too. I try to be everywhere.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us at the Bryan Marketing Group podcast. I had such a good time talking to Amanda. If you have any questions for Amanda, please, as I'm feeling like this is, was
Yeah,
it?
you were totally crushing it. You got in your
Okay.
head.
Thank you. Okay. We good? Okay. Thank you for joining us at the Bryan Marketing Group podcast. I had so much fun talking to Amanda. If you have any more questions, check us out at www.bryanmarketinggroup.com or check us out on Apple, Spotify, or Instagram. Thank you.